Hello, I'm Tam of the Tam BOTC channel, and today we're going to be reading Chapter 3, The Full Moon Meeting, in Dragons of Deltora, Dragon's Nest book by Emily Rada Scholastic. All credit to them once again, for they made the awesome book. I made my scene more colorful for the newer installments, and by the way, I might not remember much of the voices I used for what I read last time, so bear with me when it comes to it. But let's get this started. This has technically got 8 pages. I've looked through it already. But that might not stop me from still having some sloppy reading parts, so I'm sorry if there are. Alright, let's start this. The meeting ran its usual course through the day. Reports and complaints were made. Questions were asked and answered. None of the news was good, but Leaf kept nothing back. He knew that it was no use trying to give the people false comfort. They had eyes and ears. They knew only too well that times were hard. They would see through any pretense in a moment. To be seen by all, he had to stand on the stairs that led to the upper floors of the palace, just a little closer to the source of the voice that soon came back to torment him. He fought it by, keeping his hands on the belt of Deltora, using the power of the gems, keeping his fingertips on the amethyst that soothed, the diamond for strength, the topaz that cleared the mind, but the voice was relentless. Its poison dripped into his mind, hour after hour, till his stomach was churning, and his clothes were damp with sweat. Soon, he told himself, soon. The belt cannot save you. Oh, hold on. The belt cannot save you, little king. Abruptly, the voice left him. His head reeled with the sudden freedom. Haven't seen that voice before in a while. He became aware that Barda had taken his arm, that the people were staring up at him in fear. He realized that he must have staggered. "I am sorry," he said. I am a little tired. The king must rest now," said Barda. "Thank you all." There was a stir from the crowd as a woman holding a sleeping baby scrambled quickly to her feet. The woman was gaunt, and her clothes, though carefully washed and pressed, were ragged. She looked nervous, but stood very straight, with her shoulders back. "I am Iris of Dell, bootmaker and mender, wife of Polly, and mother of Jack," she began. I'm not doing a woman's voice, forget that. Identifying herself as was the custom at these meetings. If I'm going to do a woman's voice, it might as well be one of those annoying British ones they would do on Monty Python. No, just joking. "I have a question," as Leaf met her determined eyes. He knew exactly what she was going to ask. Plainly, Barda knew it too. The big man stiffened and began to raise his hand, as if to say that it was too late, that no more questions could be answered. "Yes, Iris," Leaf said quickly. The woman hesitated, biting her lip as though suddenly regretting her boldness. Then she looked down at the baby in her arms and seemed to gain confidence. "There is something worrying my husband and me, sir," she said. "I am sure it must be worrying many others, too, but no one has yet spoken of it." Leaf saw that many people in the crowd were nodding and murmuring to one another. So, the word has spread, he thought. All the better. It will make what I have to tell them easier. If they are prepared, I only wish. He opened his mouth to speak, then froze as there was a sudden stir near the doorway. 2 women shrieked and ducked, a man shouted, and a small child gave a high-pitched cry of excitement. Then the whole crowd was exclaiming, looking up. A messenger bird had soared through the doorway and into the palace. Leif's heart gave a great leap as it sped up towards him. Kree, Barda muttered. Kree landed on Leif's outstretched arm and waited until Leif had taken the scroll from his beak. Before squawking, "Squawk!" a greeting, Leif unrolled the note. Your message received. Jasmine and I will be with you within the hour. Doom. The video game. No. It has a little picture of a note. Moving on to page 22. Also, there may be some background noises, but don't mind them. Thank you, Kree, he said, passing the note to Barda. He did not know how to feel. He needed doom, urgently. He needed doom, really? And was filled with relief at the thought that Tauran magic was speeding him to Del. But he would rather Jasmine had remained in the west, in Tora, where she would be safe. Then he shook his head. How could he have thought Jasmine would agree to that? I must have been mad, he said aloud. Barda nudged him, and he glanced up. Iris was still standing in the center of the crowd, looking bewildered. Go on, Iris, he said, smiling at her. I am sorry for the interruption. The woman swallowed, tightened her grip on her child, and spoke again. It sounds foolish, but Polly and I have feared to come here today, sir, she said, especially as we had to bring our little Jack with us. We have heard rumors that somehow the Shadow Lord has returned, that he lurks here in the palace, in a locked room above stairs. Could that be true? No, it is not, barked Barda. Before Leif could speak, the enemy has been exiled to the Shadowlands, as well you know. But Iris's anxious eyes had never left Leif's face. We have heard that the enemy talks to you, sir, in your mind, she said in a low voice, and perhaps to others, too, for all we know. That is so, Leif said quietly, ignoring the pressure of Barda's hand on his arm. And it is time to tell you about it. I was going to do so today, in any case, as soon as the time for questions was over. Thank you for giving me a way to begin. Very flustered, not knowing whether to be pleased or afraid, Iris sank back down beside her husband. He put his arm around her and gently touched the baby's cheek with a wart-stained finger. Oh, that's nice. The room was very still as Leif began to speak. On the 3rd floor of the palace, in a sealed room, there's a thing called the crystal, he said. It is a piece of thick glass set into a small table, and it has been in the room where it now stands for hundreds of years. The Shadow Lord can speak through it. as you or I might speak through an open window. Check the time. Okay, still got enough time. A murmur of dread rippled through the crowd. The enemy once used it to talk to his palace spies, Leaf went on. Now he has begun to use it to taunt me, to distract me from my work, and, above all, to try to make me despair. He torments Barda and Jasmine too, and as he gains strength, I fear he will begin on others. But can this evil not be destroyed? San called from the back of the room. If it is made of glass? I have tried to destroy the crystal many times, without success, Leaf answered. Is it the dark crystal? Anyways. Only got 5 minutes, I believe. His calm voice gave no hint of what those grim, exhausting struggles in the white room upstairs had cost him, but everyone could see it. Everyone close enough to see the sheen of sweat on his brow, and the shadows that darkened his eyes at the memory. He took a deep breath. The crystal was made by sorcery, and can only be destroyed by something just as powerful. The belt of Deltora alone is not enough. But just before this meeting began, I suddenly saw another way. Tonight, I am going to try one last time to destroy this thing that threatens us all. Why don't you just take it out of the palace? Leaf, what are you saying? Barda muttered. The murmur in the crowd had risen to a dull roar. Before him, Leaf saw a sea of frightened, exclaiming faces. The people were afraid for him and for themselves. They were right to be so, but panic would help no one. I cannot do this without your help, he called. Over the din, please hear me. Utter silence fell. These are the things you all must do, Leaf said. When you leave here, go directly to your homes, bolt the doors, put up the shutters, and do not stir outside again until you hear the bells ring, to tell you all is well. This is for your safety. Do you understand? The people nodded silently, awed by his seriousness. Leaf nodded. Good, he said. Now, there is something else that can be done by those who want to help further. Make yourselves as comfortable as possible and stay awake. Stay awake through the night and, as often as you can, think of me. Send me your strength. And is this all you ask of us, King Leaf? Cried a man from the back of the crowd. Our thoughts, why we would give you our lives. A great cheer rose up, echoing to the soaring roof of the great hall. Leaf felt a hot stinging at the back of his eyes. Thank you, he managed to say. I will carry your words with me. They will help me more than you can know. Alright. Looks like it's about time to stop the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments below. And I'll see you guys on the next video of Dragons of Deltora. Don't have much to go, but due to the copyright thing on my channel, I can't really go much further. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.